it's Miranda, and today I am here to discuss episodes 2 and 3 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. And I'm going to get into spoilers for both episode 2 and episode 3, so if you're not all caught up on the end, especially of episode 3, just be forewarned that spoilers are coming. First and foremost, I gotta take a moment, right, to just pay our respects to the man, the myth, the sleeping legend himself, Bertram Bell. He was here for not long, but his impact was far greater than his time spent with us. And yeah, I think we should just all take a minute to remember what was and what could have been. I really thought from the moment he was introduced in Campaign 3 that the man would annoy the shit out of me. And yet instead, he truly became one of my, not favorite characters, but most entertaining to watch, I think would be a good way to describe it. The man did practically nothing, honestly, in his time that he was with us. In fact, one of the actual attacks that he did was against Dorian, so that was actually not helpful at all. But what he lacked in, actual helpfulness, he made up for in laughs. And sometimes that's all you can ask of a person. Travis looked like he was having so much fun playing him. And honestly, we all kind of knew the dude wasn't going to make it. I was trying to be a little more optimistic and maybe think he was just going to bow out gracefully when they moved on from this Lord Estro stuff and be like, I'm going to stay here. He's old. He probably doesn't want to, travel around like they're going to. A lot of people did think he was going to die, though, and the man is, 80-something, so it unfortunately could not have been a peaceful death. It was, in fact, very, very violent, and yeah, I can't even imagine what their reactions are going to be when they find out. Imogen basically knows that he's dead. I don't know if she connected that it's Bertram, but I feel like when she realizes, I don't even know actually what that whole thing going on with her was. Was it her mom? Was it a sister that told her to run? And why was her vision trying to call her towards death? And then she had to run from it? There's a whole lot going on with Imogen that I really want to dive into. Like I've said, it makes more sense for her character now, I feel like, that how she has, to me, she has anxiety, definitely social anxiety, and just, I think there's a component of it about how this thing with the voices that she hears, all the thoughts can get overwhelming, like Edward Cullen, remember in Twilight? I feel like now I'm seeing there's more of this component of, there's also, a magical aspect to why she gets overwhelmed so easily, and I feel like maybe it's one of those things that, as she gets more and more overwhelmed, and as it happens more and more, now she's become more and more anxious, avoids crowded places, doesn't really like interacting with new people, is shy, I do see her opening up more to the group. That part with Dorian when she pretended that they were making out was absolutely adorable, and I love that he rolled with it so easily. I love Lana and Imogen's relationship. I think it's so cute and so supportive and so sweet. I love, again, that they're such opposites, but they hype each other up so much. I loved when when she couldn't read their minds because there were too many people, and she asked Letters to do it instead, and he was like, oh yeah, you can't do it, and Lana was like, she can do it. It's fully capable. It's not good for her right now, so defensive. It was really, really cute. And then I also liked when they both ended up on opposite balconies, and all they could see was each other because they both rolled 5s. They were like, hi, how are you? They're my girls. I love them so much. Lana, in general, I've said many, many times, is my absolute favorite. I love that she can cast, is it message she has, where she can talk to their minds, and the whole thing in episode 2 of Orm being in the dark warehouse by himself, getting these creepy-ass messages from Lana being like, and the cast plays it so funny too, how they'll repeat whatever she says, how are you? It's so creepy. But then also Fern just being like, I'm gonna knock on the door and then I'm gonna scratch on it and stuff. And he gets the feeling from FCG of curiousness, and Orm's just like, what the fuck is going on? They really were messing with. I love Lana. First they messed with Bertrand in episode 1. Now they messed with Orm in episode 2 and episode 3. And it's just so funny that she's just so herself, and it's so creepy, but to her, it's just her. She doesn't even think of herself as being creepy. When Dorian was like, oh, I can lift, I can levitate us up there, and he's like, do you want me to carry you princess style? And she was like, and spider climbed in there, and the descriptions of when she does the dreadful fear or whatever, when she instills that, her description of it is always so amazing, of her arms spindle out and she's climbing or walking really weird. I love Lana so much, and Marisha is having so much fun with her, you can tell. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the reaction is going to be to them all finding out. They're separated right now, so really it's not going to be till the morning that they can even figure out that Bertram got killed, unless they, like, I don't know if that dwarf is going to, like, throw his body on at the bar and be like, hello, this is what's happening. It's weird because I know, like, it was obviously very set up, not scripted, but set up that, like, Bertram was gonna die, and I think Matt had it in his mind of, like, this is how it's gonna happen. Travis didn't. Travis probably knew he was gonna die, but didn't know this exactly. So I'm just like, how did this dwarf find them? How did he know it was Bertram? I think what I always think about with these things is there's so many infinite choices with stuff that I'm like, how would you have played this differently? And, like, had Dorian gone along, had he been like, no, I don't think you should be out walking by yourself right now, like, I'll come with you. Like, would Dorian have been attacked and then, like, bleeding out? Would Dorian have been spared and, like, this dwarf was just trying to send a message to them by going after Bertrand or something like that? And it's also interesting because I think, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think Bertrand was there for the majority of, like, seeing the dwarf. Like, I think Bertrand came after those rat creature things were out, and there was already the cover of darkness, I think. So it's weird to me, like, how did he know exactly Bertrand was involved with all this when he saw so many other people more that he saw make their way out into the town too? And yes, Bertrand was, like, solo, which was a very stupid move. Like, Lana and Imogen were paired up, and Ashton and FCG were paired up, so obviously I guess you can be like, take out the one who's by himself. But it's just funny to me that, again, Bertrand tries his hardest, but I'm gonna miss him, like I said, and, like, Travis playing him and being so funny with him, but him in combat was a hot mess. Like, when he hit Dorian for 10 whole points, and then Dorian just, like, tripped him as payback, I was like, oh my gosh, you're a hot mess, dude. It was nice, I feel like, too. Like, he got very sentimental at the end, which is when everyone was like, he's gonna die, when he was like, you don't always get parties like this that gel kind of so quickly and that get good favor from, like, whoever's paying them and get contracts and stuff. So he was telling Dorian, like, really cherish this. Like, I'm excited for this, which makes it even more sad that, like, he died. Like, he doesn't get to have one last hurrah of this, I do wonder if maybe it has something to, because, like, he talked about his party that didn't go good, right? This dwarf knew who he was. So I know he's been in the town for a while, and obviously he works with Lord Estros in some capacity. So I guess it wouldn't be that big of a stretch if the dwarf knew who he was. I'm just curious if his past party is going to come up at all. It's just sad to think about, It is funny, though, too, that he was like, you guys work so well together and everything, but that whole warehouse scene was a hot-ass mess. Like, it reminded me so much of EXU when they did their first fight on the boat. A hot-ass mess. No one knew where they were going. They split up in 3 and then split up even more, and then people that were supposed to be in the back went to the front, and people that were supposed to be in the it was just like, watching it, I was like, this is the most entertaining, chaotic thing I have ever seen in my life. Like, I like when they're just, like, dicking around and, like, can't figure out how to get their footing. And it makes sense, they haven't fought with these characters before. They don't know, like, who's got who's power, like, and also think about it, like, maybe the players know, but the characters don't know who can heal, who has message. Like, they have to kind of work all that out and iron that out and gel. So I feel like it feels more realistic that it would take them a while, and there's some major buffoonery in trying to figure out who's going where and who's actually going in the warehouse, what they're actually, like, when Marisha as Lana was like, I just need to take a moment to, what are our goals? And FCG was like, yeah, I was wondering that too. Like, what exactly are we looking for? Like, it was just, it feels realistic. These are people that haven't worked in any capacity really together. I mean, smaller groups they have, obviously, like Orm, Dorian, and Fern have, Imogen and Lana have, Ashton and FCG have. So, like, there's smaller groups, but obviously when you put smaller dynamics into a bigger dynamic, it's going to be different. I have no clue with the mystery. They weren't able to save Dennis, right? It's not Dennis, it's Dennis. They weren't able to save her, and the question is, how much was she involved? I want to trust Lord Estros so much, especially when he was so sweet with making them a freaking carrot cake and was, like, so embarrassed that he forgot frosting. It just shows how on to, like, mad I am that I can't trust anything. Like, I really hope he's the good guy, but to me, I feel like the smuggling thing, when they were like, oh, if someone was doing brimstone, he didn't seem that surprised by it. I honestly kind of wish that someone had rolled an insight check into something, because I feel like stealing and smuggling, those can be two separate things, you know, like maybe Dennis was stealing for someone, but he was smuggling, you know what I mean? So it worries me a little bit. Like, I feel like I'm so distrustful of just someone with, like, pure intentions that's not a player. So when he's like, you know, it was nice to hear him be like, you know, like, I'm here to, you know, keep things going, like, undercover remotely, like, keep the good guys good and the bad guys in check. Like, I was like, oh, I want to believe that, but at the same time, I'm also like, but are you? You know what I mean? Like, you own a warehouse, it's, like, creepy, it's got brimstone, there's this weird dwarf guy who he claims he didn't know, but again, I wish someone would roll an insight check into that, because he definitely took a moment to, like, think about it. So there's just a lot of stuff up in the air right now, and I feel like it's going to be a longer investigation. Like, I feel like they might even just do different stuff, like look for who Orm and Dorian and Fern are looking for first, and maybe try out some stuff with, like, figuring out, well, the investigation's going to take long, but I also feel like now that Bertram's died, they're like, oh, shite, like, you came for one of us. Like, they were already upset about Dennis. You could tell, especially, like, FCG and Lana and Orm were like, oh, jeez. So I feel like they're all going to take Bertram being killed very strongly and are going to want to go after, but, like, what step do you take? They know nothing about this man. They only know his last known location, which was a friggin' hotel. It's going to be interesting now that, like, all the kind of leads they did have are gone, and it's kind of, like, back to square one, how long it'll take. But I'm hoping that now they're all going to have this centralized mission of avenging Bertram and, you know, being a great party and living on in his memory. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. And yeah, if you have seen episodes 2 and 3, please feel free to leave your thoughts, your predictions, any things you noticed. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!